They found them. The Russians put a $5 million bounty on his daughters' heads. Luna and Stella, two 5-year-old girls who just wanted to play on swings, now have professional killers hunting them. Amara is running, terrified, blaming him for destroying their safe, hidden life. And Jae-won? The crime lord who built an empire on fear now faces his worst nightmare, protecting the children he just met from the monsters he created. This is part 2. And trust me, nothing will ever be the same. If you missed part 1, go back and watch it now, because this story is about to get darker, more dangerous, and absolutely devastating. Jae-won didn't go home. He went to war. Within 3 hours of that photo arriving, Luna and Stella's preschool, the sand message, the threat that made his blood run cold, he'd mobilized every resource at his disposal. 12 safe houses secured across 3 states. 48 of his best soldiers pulled from regular operations. Every informant, every contact, every person who owed him a favor activated simultaneously. Find Amara and the twins. Protect them. Eliminate any threat within a 100-mile radius. He stood in his penthouse war room, surrounded by monitors showing live feeds from across the city. His underboss, Marcus, coordinated teams while Jae-won's mind raced through scenarios, contingencies, nightmare possibilities. "Sir, we've got eyes on 3 Russian crew houses," Marcus reported. "No sign of Victor yet, but his men are moving. They're looking for something. They're looking for my daughters." The words still felt surreal. His phone rang. "Miranda, tell me you found them," he said without greeting. "No, but I found something else." Her voice was tight. "The bounty didn't come from Victor. It came from someone inside your own organization." Time stopped. "What?" "Someone close to you wants those girls dead, Jae-won. Someone who sees them as a threat to your leadership, to the empire, to everything you've built. Betrayal tasted like copper and rage. Who? I don't know yet. But whoever it is has deep pockets and deeper connections. The bounty went out on encrypted channels your own people use." Jae-won's hand tightened on his phone until the screen cracked. He'd expected external threats, rivals, enemies, the Russians who'd been trying to take his territory for years. But his own people? "Find them," he said, his voice dropping to something that made Marcus glance over nervously. "Find whoever put that bounty out and bring them to me. Alive. Jae-won, I want to look them in the eyes before I end them." He hung up, stared at the monitors showing empty streets, dark alleys, a city full of shadows where 2 little girls were hiding with their terrified mother. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A video file. His hand shook as he opened it. Amara's face filled the screen. No audio. Just her mouth forming words. "Leave us alone." Behind her, barely visible, a motel sign. Cheap. Run down. The kind of place people disappeared into. But Jae-won had spent 15 years learning to read details others missed. The sign's reflection in the window behind her. The specific shade of brick visible for half a second. The distant sound of train tracks. He knew that area. East Side, Industrial District. 3 possible motels. "Marcus, get a team to the East Industrial Zone. 3 locations." He rattled off addresses. Quietly, Amara spots anyone she recognizes. She'll run again. "Boss, maybe we should let her run." "Keep them moving. Keep them hidden. She's in a $20 motel with 2 5-year-olds and whatever cash she had in her purse. How long do you think she can stay hidden? How long before she has to use a credit card, make a phone call, do something that leaves a trail?" His voice hardened. "Every hunter in this city is looking for them. I'm not leaving them exposed. And if she refuses protection, she doesn't get a choice anymore." The words came out harsher than he intended, but he'd seen that photo, read that sand message, knew exactly what men like Victor did to children when they wanted to send a message. His daughters would not become casualties in his war, even if Amara hated him for it. Another call. His father. Jae-won almost didn't answer, but ignoring the old man would only make things worse. "You've made a mess," his father said without preamble. "I'm handling it." "Handling it? The entire underworld knows you have illegitimate children. Your fiancé's family is reconsidering the merger. Your own people are questioning whether you're compromised. His father's voice dripped disgust. I raised you better than this. You raised me to value power over everything. I'm starting to think that was the mistake. Silence. Dangerous silence. Those children make you weak. Those children are my blood. Your granddaughters. I don't have granddaughters. I have a son who's forgotten everything I taught him about survival. The old man's voice went cold. Weakness gets you killed in our world. You know this. So either eliminate the problem or I will. The line went dead. J1 stared at his phone. His own father had just threatened his daughters. The man who'd raised him, trained him, built him into the crime lord he'd become, had just put a price on Luna and Stella's heads. Something inside him shattered, then rebuilt into something harder, sharper, more dangerous than he'd ever been. Marcus. Sir? My father is no longer part of this organization's command structure. Any orders from him are to be ignored. Anyone who follows them answers to me personally. Marcus's eyes went wide. Boss? That's a coup? A betrayal? I don't care what you call it. J1's voice carried the weight of absolute authority. My daughters are off limits. Anyone, and I mean anyone, who comes for them dies. Family or not. Understood? Understood. His phone lit up with a location ping. Amara, the motel. His team had found them. Relief and dread warred in his chest. I'm going alone, he said. That's suicide if it's a trap. I don't care. She won't talk to me if I show up with an army. This has to be just me. He grabbed his jacket, checked the concealed weapon he always carried, and headed for the door. Sir? Marcus called after him. What if she still refuses? J1 paused. Then I protect them anyway, from a distance, in shadows, however I have to. And the bounty? Double it. Put 10 million on information leading to whoever set the original price. Let's see how loyal people stay when the money flows the other direction. He left before Marcus could argue. The drive to the motel took 17 minutes. Every second felt like drowning. He kept seeing Luna's face, Stella's smile, Amara's terror, the photo of their preschool, the sand message, his father's cold dismissal of their lives. By the time he pulled into the motel parking lot, something had crystallized in his mind with perfect, terrible clarity. He'd spent 15 years building an empire on fear and blood and ruthless calculation. Now he was going to burn that empire to ash if that's what it took to keep 2 5-year-old girls safe. The crime lord was done choosing power over people. Starting now. He stood outside room 12, hearing movement inside. Small voices. Amara's low, soothing tones. He knocked gently. The movement stopped. Silence. Amara, it's me, please. Just let me talk to you. More silence. Then the door cracked open. Just an inch. Amara's face appeared, and she looked destroyed. Eyes red, face exhausted, the kind of tired that came from running on pure adrenaline and terror. How did you find us? Her voice was dead. I'll always find you. That's not a threat. It's a promise. If I can find you, so can they. You need to let me help. Help? You've done enough helping. But her voice cracked. They're terrified, J1. They keep asking why bad men want to hurt them. How do I explain that to 5-year-olds? You don't. You let me handle it. By doing what? Killing everyone? Starting a war? If that's what it takes. She stared at him, really looked at him, and whatever she saw made her expression shift. You mean that? Every word. You'd destroy your own empire for them. I'd destroy the world for them. Amara's eyes filled with tears. 24 hours ago, you didn't even know they existed. 24 hours ago, I didn't know what I was living for. Now I do. Behind her, a small voice. Mommy, is that J1? Stella. His heart cracked. Amara looked back at her daughters, then at J1, and he watched her make a choice. She opened the door. You have 5 minutes, she said. Then I'm taking them and running somewhere even you can't find. He stepped inside. Luna and Stella sat on the bed, looking smaller than they had in the park, more fragile, like the world had taught them something terrible in just one afternoon. Hi, he said softly. Hi, Luna whispered. Stella just stared. They were scared. Of him. The realization felt like being shot. "I'm sorry," he said, kneeling down to their level. "I'm sorry bad things happened. I'm sorry you're scared. But I promise you," he looked at each of them, "nothing is going to hurt you. Not while I'm breathing. Mommy says bad men are looking for us," Luna said, her voice tiny. "They are. But I'm going to make them stop." "How?" Honest answer: by becoming the monster they feared. By unleashing violence so brutal it would serve as a warning to anyone who even thought about touching his daughters. But he couldn't say that to a 5-year-old. "By being very, very good at my job," he said instead. Stella tilted her head. "What's your job?" Amara made a small sound. Jaewon met her eyes. The truth sat between them, heavy and unavoidable. "I protect people," he said carefully. "And right now, you two are the most important people in my whole world." "More important than your job?" Luna asked. "So much more important." "More important than anything?" He thought about his empire, his reputation, his carefully constructed life. "Yes," he said. "More important than anything." Stella slid off the bed and walked toward him. Stopped just out of reach. "Are you our daddy?" The world stopped spinning. Amara's sharp inhale, Luna's wide eyes, Stella's innocent question hanging in the air like a grenade. His voice failed. "Luna said maybe you are, because of the moon marks, and the eyes." Stella studied him seriously. "Are you?" Jaewon looked at Amara. She'd gone completely white. This was her call, her truth to tell or hide. But she just stood there, frozen, leaving him alone with the most important question he'd ever been asked. "Yes," he said quietly. "I'm your daddy." And everything changed. Stella processed this information with the seriousness of a child trying to understand adult complexity. "Why don't you live with us?" The question hit like a physical blow. "Because," he looked helplessly at Amara. "Because grown-ups make mistakes sometimes," Amara said, her voice shaking. "And sometimes those mistakes mean families don't look like other families." "But you're here now," Luna said, that too knowing look in her eyes. "Does that mean you want to be with us?" "More than anything," Jaewon said. "But it's complicated." "Why? How did you explain to 5-year-olds that their father was a crime lord? That his world was violence and darkness? That loving them might get them killed? Because I have a dangerous job, and I don't want that danger to touch you." "But it already did," Luna said simply. "The scary men at the park. That's the danger, right?" Too smart. She was too damn smart. "Yes. So hiding doesn't work anymore." Amara made a broken sound. "Luna, baby. It's okay, Mommy. I'm not scared." But her voice trembled. "If he's our daddy, he'll protect us. That's what daddies do." The faith in those words destroyed him. Because what if he couldn't? What if his protection wasn't enough? What if... His phone buzzed. "Marcus. We've got a problem. The Russians just hit one of our safe houses. They're looking for something. Or someone." Jaewon stepped outside to call back. "What happened?" "They tortured 2 of our men. Asked about the girls, about Amara. They know we're hiding them, boss. They know we're moving pieces to protect them." "Casualties?" "Both men dead. But they didn't talk. Died before giving anything up. 2 lives. Gone. Because of him. Because of his daughters." The math was brutal and clear. "Pull everyone back to defensive positions. I want..." A scream from inside the room cut him off. He dropped the phone and crashed through the door. Amara stood frozen, staring at the window where a brick had shattered the glass. Wrapped around it, a note. Luna and Stella huddled on the bed, crying. Jaewon grabbed the note. "We're closer than you think. Stop running. Start negotiating. You have 24 hours. V. Victor." Somehow, impossibly, the Russians had tracked them here. Which meant, "There's a leak," he said, his mind racing. "Someone in my organization is feeding them information." Amara's face went from terrified to furious. "You brought this here. You led them right to us. I didn't... Get out!" She was shaking, gathering the twins close. "We were safe before you came back. We were hidden and safe and..." "Mommy," Don't yell, Stella sobbed. You were never safe, J1 said, hating the truth of it. Victor finding you at the hospital wasn't about me. They've been watching you, tracking you, waiting. You're lying. Am I? How did they know which hospital? Which day? They followed you, Amara. Not me. You. The color drained from her face. No, that's not. They've probably been watching for weeks, waiting for the right moment. I just gave them a reason to make their move now instead of later. His phone rang. Miranda. I found your leak, she said without preamble. It's your cousin, David. He's been feeding information to the Russians for 6 months. And J1? He knows where Amara's apartment is, where the girls go to school. Everything. His cousin. Family. Betrayal burned through him like acid. Where is he? My men have him. What do you want me to do? Hold him. I'm coming. J1, you don't have time. The Russians are mobilizing. Whatever Victor is planning, it's happening soon. He looked at Amara and the twins, at the shattered window, at the note threatening everything he'd just discovered mattered. 24 hours. Victor wanted to negotiate, which meant he wanted something more than just the bounty. What does he want? J1 asked. Territory, power, your empire in exchange for your daughter's lives. There it was. The impossible choice. Everything he'd built. 15 years of blood and strategy and ruthless climbing. His father's legacy. His own legend. Versus 2 little girls he'd known for 24 hours. Tell Victor I'll negotiate, he said. Boss, you can't. Set up a meeting. Neutral ground. 2 hours. He'll kill you the second you show up. Probably. But he won't kill them. Not if I give him what he wants. Silence. You're really going to do this? Miranda said quietly. Trade your empire for 2 children. They're not just 2 children. They're mine. He hung up. Turned to find Amara staring at him. What are you doing? She whispered. What I should have done 5 years ago. Choosing you. Choosing them. Over everything else. J1. I'm meeting with Victor. I'm going to end this. They'll kill you. Maybe. But first I'm getting you somewhere actually safe. Somewhere my cousin doesn't know about. Somewhere no one can find you. Where? He made a decision that would change everything. Miranda's family estate. Her father's compound. It's a fortress. Ex-military security. The one place even the Russians won't touch because it would start a war they can't win. Your fiancé's house? Amara looked incredulous. You want to hide us with the woman you're supposed to marry? Miranda's not my enemy, and right now she's the only person I trust completely. That wasn't entirely true, but it was close enough. His phone buzzed. A photo. His father. Tied to a chair, beaten. Blood streaming from his face. Text from Victor. We have something of yours. You have something of ours. Let's trade. The Russians had kidnapped his father. J1 stared at the image. Felt. Nothing. The man who'd raised him. Trained him. Built him into what he was. The same man who'd threatened to kill his granddaughters. What is it? Amara asked. Leverage, he said simply. He texted back. Keep him. Victor's response was immediate. Heartless. I like it. But we both know you'll trade. Question is, your father or your daughters? Choose. And there it was. The ultimatum he'd been dreading. Save his father, the crime lord who'd built the empire. Or save his daughters. 2 little girls who'd existed in his life for exactly 1 day. Amara read the messages over his shoulder. Oh my God, she breathed. J1, that's your father. Who threatened to kill Luna and Stella this morning. What? He called them a problem. Said I needed to eliminate them or he would. J1's voice was empty. He made his choice. Now I'm making mine. He knelt down to the twins again. Luna, Stella, I need you to be very brave for me. Can you do that? They nodded, eyes wide. We're going somewhere safe. Somewhere no bad men can find you. And I'm going to make sure they never bother you again. Are you leaving? Luna asked, her voice small. The question broke something in his chest. Just for a little while. But I'm coming back. I promise. You promised before and the scary men came anyway, Stella said. Truth. Brutal truth from a 5-year-old who'd learned promises meant nothing. I know, but this time is different. This time I'm going to fix everything. How? Luna tilted her head. His gesture. His daughter. By being the scariest man in the room, he said simply. Amara touched his shoulder. If you do this, if you trade your empire, your power, everything, you'll have nothing left. He looked at his daughters. Really looked at them. At Luna's serious eyes. Stella's trembling chin. The matching butterfly shirts now wrinkled and stained from hiding in a cheap motel. At the life they should have. Could have, if he was brave enough to choose it. I'll have them, he said. That's everything. His phone rang. The meeting was set. Midnight, abandoned warehouse. The cliché location where men like him went to die. Marcus will take you to Miranda's estate, he told Amara. Don't argue. Don't fight. Just go. J1, promise me. Promise you'll keep them safe no matter what. Tears streamed down her face. I hate you for this. For coming back. For making them love you. I know. But do you promise? Yes, I promise. He kissed Luna's forehead. Then Stella's. Breathed in their little girl smell. Memorized their faces. Be good for your mommy, he said. Come back, Luna whispered. I will. I swear it. He walked out before they could see him break. Marcus waited outside. The girls? Take them to Miranda's. Maximum security. No one gets close. And you, boss? I'm going to negotiate with the devil. You mean become the devil. Jaewon smiled. It was a terrible smile. I've always been the devil, Marcus. I just forgot for a while. What's the play? Victor wants my empire. He can have it. All of it. Boss? But first, he's going to watch me dismantle everything he loves. Everyone he trusts. Every piece of power he's accumulated. Jaewon's voice went cold. He thinks I'm weak because I have daughters? I'm about to show him what a father is capable of when you threaten his children. That's suicide. No, that's war. He got in his car. Midnight was 6 hours away. 6 hours to prepare. 6 hours to say goodbye to the empire he'd built. 6 hours to become the monster his daughters would never have to see. Because the crime lord had finally learned what mattered. And heaven help anyone who stood between him and the 2 little girls he'd die to protect. The warehouse smelled like rust and old violence. Jaewon arrived 30 minutes early. Alone. Unarmed. As Victor had demanded. That was a lie, of course. He had 3 weapons hidden on his body, and a sniper team positioned across the street. Marcus had argued for more backup, but Jaewon had refused. This was his mess. His war. His choice. The Russians arrived exactly at midnight. 5 black SUVs. 20 armed men. Victor stepping out like he owned the world. Maybe he did, after tonight. Jaewon Park, Victor called out, his accent thick with mockery. The great crime lord, coming alone to negotiate. How? Touching. You have something I want. I have something you want. Let's talk. Victor smiled. Always so direct. I appreciate that. He gestured. 2 of his men dragged someone forward. Jaewon's father. The old man looked broken, beaten, but his eyes still burned with that familiar fury. Weakness. His father spat blood. This is what love makes you. Weak. Jaewon didn't respond. Victor watched the exchange with interest. No tearful reunion? No rage? You really don't care about Daddy Dearest, do you? I care about ending this. State your terms. So, businesslike. Fine. Victor pulled out a contract. Actual paperwork, like they were closing a real estate deal instead of trading lives. Your territory. All of it. East Coast operations, West Coast connections, your shipping routes, your political contacts. Everything you've built. Sign it over to me, and your family walks away. My family, Jaewon repeated. The woman, the little girls, your father, all safe, all alive, all yours to keep in whatever pathetic life you build afterward. His father laughed bitterly. You're actually considering this. Trading 15 years of work for some bastard children you didn't know existed 48 hours ago. They're not bastards, Jaewon said quietly. They're mine. They're leverage. They're weapons your enemies will use to destroy you. They're 5 years old. They're a mistake. Something in Jaewon snapped. He walked toward his father. Victor's men tensed, hands on weapons. Jaewon knelt down, looking the old man in the eyes. You're right, he said softly. They are a mistake. My mistake for not knowing about them sooner. My mistake for building a life where having a family meant painting targets on them. My mistake for becoming exactly what you made me. A man who valued power over people. Then you understand. But that's over now. I'm done being that man. His father's expression shifted from rage to something like fear. You're serious. You're really going to give him everything. For Luna and Stella? Yes. For Amara? Yes. For the chance to be something other than a crime lord my daughters are terrified of? Absolutely yes. He'll kill you anyway. The second you sign, he'll put a bullet in your head. Probably. Jaewon stood. But they'll be safe. That's all that matters. Victor had been watching this exchange with growing amusement. Touching, really. But your father's right. What makes you think I'll keep my word? What's to stop me from taking your empire and your family? Because you're a businessman, Victor. And killing me after I give you everything I have. That's just bad business. You'll make more enemies than you can handle. The other families will see it as a declaration of war. Smart, but not smart enough. Victor pulled out his phone, showed Jaewon a live video feed. Miranda's estate. Amara and the twins visible through a window. Jaewon's blood turned to ice. You think I'd leave them unguarded? Victor laughed. I have men positioned outside. One phone call and they breach the compound. Your precious daughter's dead in minutes. If you hurt them, you'll what? You're unarmed, surrounded, and about to sign away every ounce of power you have. Victor's smile was cruel. This is what checkmate looks like, Park. I don't just want your empire. I want you broken, on your knees, begging. The warehouse fell silent. Jaewon's mind raced. His sniper team could take out Victor, but not before the call went through. His hidden weapons were useless against 20 armed Russians. Every play he had ended with his daughters in the crossfire. Unless... You're right, he said quietly. This is checkmate. You win. He pulled out a pen, reached for the contract. His father made a sound of disgust. Pathetic. Victor's grin widened. Now that's what I like to see. The mighty fallen. Sign every page, Park. Make it legal. Jaewon started signing. Page after page. Territories, shipping routes, political connections, bank accounts. Everything he'd built with blood and strategy and 15 years of ruthless ambition. Gone. For 2 little girls who loved butterflies. Almost done, Victor said. Just the final page. The one that transfers total control. The one that makes you nothing. Jaewon's pen hovered over the last signature line. One question first, he said. You're not in a position to ask questions. Humor me. The leak in my organization. My cousin David. How long have you been paying him? Victor laughed. Months. He was so easy to flip. Jealous of you. Resentful. All I had to do was promise him a piece of your empire when you fell. And my father? How did you grab him? David again. Told us exactly where the old man would be. Made it almost too easy. Jaewon set down the pen. That's what I thought. Something in his tone made Victor's smile falter. What? You should have done better research, Victor. David wasn't my cousin. He was my plant. He's been feeding you false information for the last 3 months. The warehouse exploded into chaos. Windows shattered as Jaewon's real team, 30 soldiers hidden in the rafters, the shadows, the very walls, opened fire. Victor's men went down in seconds. Jaewon pulled his hidden weapon, putting a bullet in Victor's shoulder before the Russian could reach for his phone. The phone clattered to the ground. Jaewon crushed it under his heel. The feed, Victor gasped, clutching his bleeding shoulder. Recorded footage from earlier. Miranda's estate is a fortress, remember? Your men never got close. They're all dead now, by the way. My people eliminated them 20 minutes ago. Victor's face went white with rage and pain. You planned this. I'm a crime lord, Victor. Did you really think I'd just hand you my empire? Jaewon crouched down, his voice going deadly soft. You came after my daughters. You put a price on their heads. You threatened everything I love. So did your father. My father is a monster who I'll deal with separately. But you crossed a line you can't come back from. The other families will come for you. Let them. I've spent 15 years being untouchable. Now I'm going to be something worse. He pressed the gun against Victor's head. I'm going to be a father. And fathers don't negotiate with people who threaten their children. They eliminate them. Wait, we can still... The gunshot echoed. Victor Kozlov fell silent. Permanently. Jaewon stood looking at his father. The old man stared at him with something between horror and respect. You used me as bait, he said. You threatened my daughters. I needed Victor to think I was desperate enough to trade everything. You were the perfect distraction. You would have let me die. You wanted to kill Luna and Stella. Yes, I would have. His father laughed, a broken sound. You've become everything I taught you to be. Ruthless, strategic, willing to sacrifice anything. No. Jaewon walked toward him. I've become everything you failed to teach me. How to love something more than power. How to protect instead of destroy. How to be human. Those girls will get you killed. Maybe. But I'd rather die being their father than live being your legacy. He cut the ropes binding his father. You're free to go. Leave the city, leave the organization. I don't care. But if you ever come near my daughters again, Victor's death will look merciful. His father stood on shaky legs. This isn't over. Yes, it is. The old man limped away, surrounded by Jaewon's soldiers who would make sure he got far, far away. Marcus approached. Boss, clean sweep, no Russian survivors. The bounty's been canceled through back channels. Word spreading that you took out Victor personally. Good. What about the leak? The real ones? Found 3. Being handled now. And my family? Safe. Miranda's been calling nonstop. Jaewon pulled out his phone. A text from Amara. Please tell me you're alive. He typed back, on my way home. Another text from Miranda. Home? Since when do you call my estate home? He smiled despite everything. Since 2 little girls who loved butterflies had taught him what home actually meant. The warehouse behind him burned. Victor's body. The contract. Every symbol of the empire he'd almost traded away. But Jaewon had learned something in the last 48 hours. He didn't need an empire to be powerful. He just needed a reason to be ruthless. And now he had 2. Luna and Stella. His daughters. Worth more than territory, money, or power. Worth killing for. Worth dying for. Worth burning the whole criminal underworld to ash if anyone dared threaten them again. The crime lord drove through the night toward his family. And for the first time in 15 years, he wasn't thinking about empire. He was thinking about bedtime stories, butterfly songs, and the look on his daughters' faces when he finally came home. Because he'd made a promise. And unlike his father, unlike Victor, unlike every broken man he'd destroyed to get here, Jaewon Park kept his promises, especially to 2 5-year-old girls who'd called him daddy, even if he still had no idea how to deserve it. Gancho Final Devastador. Episodio 3. He arrived at Miranda's estate at 3 a.m., covered in blood that wasn't his, carrying the weight of 20 dead Russians and 1 impossible future. The guards let him through without question. Miranda met him at the door. They're asleep, she said quietly. Both of them. Amara wouldn't rest until I promised to wake her the second you arrived. And my father? Who crossed the Canadian border an hour ago. Your men are tracking him. He won't be a problem. Jaewon nodded, started toward the guest wing. Miranda's hand caught his arm. You know this changes everything between us. I know. The merger, the wedding, the alliance our fathers built. I know. You love her, Amara. You love those girls more than you've ever loved anything. It wasn't a question. Yes. Miranda studied him for a long moment, then smiled, sad, knowing. Good. You deserve to feel something real for once. She walked away before he could respond. Jaewon found Amara outside the room where the twins slept. She looked up, saw the blood, saw his face, knew. "Is it over?" she whispered. "Victor's dead. The bounty's gone. My father's in exile. The threat is contained. Contained, not eliminated. This world doesn't do eliminated, just managed." She stood, walked toward him, stopped inches away. "What now?" "Now I figure out how to be what they need. A father, a protector, someone who doesn't bring war to their doorstep. Can you do that? Stop being the crime lord." Before he could answer, Luna's voice came from inside the room. "Daddy?" His heart stopped. Amara's expression crumbled. Because that word, daddy, changed everything. Meant commitment, presence, forever. Jaewon opened the door. Luna sat up in bed, rubbing her eyes. Stella still slept beside her. "You came back," Luna said. "I promised. People break promises. I won't. Not to you. Never to you." She studied him with those two knowing eyes. "You're bleeding." "It's not mine." "Did you hurt the bad men? Truth or comfort? What did you tell a 5-year-old about violence committed in her name?" "I made sure they can't hurt you anymore," he said carefully. Luna nodded, like she understood more than she should. "Okay, can you stay? Just for tonight?" Every instinct screamed danger, attachment, vulnerability. But looking at his daughter, asking him to stay. "Yes," he said. "I'll stay." He sat beside her bed. She reached out, took his hand. "You're warm," she said sleepily. "So are you. Will you be here when I wake up?" "Yes." "Promise?" "Promise." She closed her eyes, fell asleep holding her father's hand. The crime lord who'd killed 20 men that night sat in the darkness, watching his daughters breathe, and realized he'd burned his empire, destroyed his father's legacy, shattered every alliance he'd built. For this. For 2 little girls who trusted him despite every reason not to. Worth it. All of it. Worth. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo. The preschool again. But this time, someone had left flowers on the swing set. White roses. The kind left at funerals. And a note. Victor had 3 brothers. They're coming. Run. Jaewon stared at the photo until the screen burned into his vision. 3 brothers. Victor had 3 brothers. And white roses meant only one thing in the Russian underworld. Blood debt. A promise of vengeance that wouldn't end until everyone involved was dead. He stood carefully, releasing Luna's hand. She mumbled in her sleep, but didn't wake. Outside the room, Amara waited. She saw his face. What happened? He showed her the photo. The color drained from her face. No, you said it was over. You said, I killed the head of the snake. I didn't know about the rest of the family. His jaw tightened. Victor's brothers. They're coming. Then we run. We take the girls and disappear. New identities, new country. Somewhere they can't. They'll find you. These men have unlimited resources and a blood vendetta. Running just delays the inevitable. So what? We just wait here to die? No. He pulled her into an empty room, closed the door. We end this. Permanently. How? The same way I've ended every war. Overwhelming force, strategic strikes, elimination of the threat before they can mobilize. Amara grabbed his arm. Listen to yourself. That's the crime lord talking. The man I left. The man I didn't want my daughters to know. That man is the only reason they're still alive. And what happens when Luna and Stella are old enough to understand what you are? What you do? When they ask why people are afraid of their daddy. Why men die when you make phone calls. The questions hit like physical blows. I don't have answers, Amara. All I have is the ability to keep them breathing, to keep you safe. If that makes me a monster in their eyes when they're older, I'll live with that. But at least they'll be alive to hate me. She studied his face. You really think you can win against 3 Russian crime lords? I've won against worse odds. Alone? I'm never alone. I have Marcus, my organization, resources that I meant emotionally, Jaewon. You've been alone your whole life, building walls, trusting no one, loving nothing. Her voice softened. But now you have daughters, a family, people who need you whole, not just alive. I don't know how to be whole. Then learn. Because those girls in there, they don't need the crime lord. They need a father. Before he could respond, his phone rang. Marcus. Boss, we've got intel. Victor's brothers, Dmitry Alexei and Konstantin Kozlov, they've already left Moscow. ETA to New York. 18 hours. They're bringing an army. How many? 50 soldiers. Maybe more. And they've put out a new bounty. 20 million. Dead only. For you, Amara, and both girls. 20 million. The number made his blood run cold. At that price, every hired gun on the East Coast would come hunting. Secure the perimeter. I want Miranda's estate turned into a fortress. No one gets within a mile without us knowing. Already done. But boss? 20 million. That's enough to turn your own people. The betrayal potential hung in the air. Then we find out who's loyal and who's not. Fast. He hung up, looked at Amara. 18 hours, she whispered. We have 18 hours. That's enough time. For what? To make a choice I should have made 5 years ago. He walked back to the twins' room, stood in the doorway watching them sleep. Luna curled around her stuffed butterfly. Stella sprawled everywhere, one foot hanging off the bed. Perfect. Innocent. His. What choice? Amara asked from behind him. J1 pulled out his phone, made a call that would change everything. Miranda, I need your father. Now. J1, it's 4 a.m. I need the alliance, the merger, everything we planned. But with different terms. Silence. Then. What are you proposing? Full partnership. Your family's resources and protection for Amara and the twins. In exchange, I dismantle my independent operations and fold completely into your father's organization. You're talking about surrendering your empire, becoming a subordinate instead of a leader. I'm talking about keeping my daughters alive. Another pause. My father will have conditions. I don't care. Whatever he wants. Territory, money, control. He can have it all. And us? Our engagement? Ends. Clean break. No hard feelings. You deserve someone who can love you the way you deserve. He heard her breath catch. You're really doing this. Giving up everything. Not everything. I'm keeping what matters. I'll call my father. But J1? This makes you vulnerable. Dependent. Everything you've spent 15 years avoiding. I know. And you're okay with that? He looked at his sleeping daughters. More than okay. It's the first smart choice I've made in years. Miranda hung up. Amara touched his shoulder. What did you just do? I chose you. I chose them. Over power. Over independence. Over everything I thought mattered. J1. I can't protect you alone. Not against 3 brothers with unlimited resources and a blood vendetta. But Miranda's father. He controls half the East Coast. Has political connections, military contracts, resources that make my operation look small. And in exchange, you become his soldier. In exchange, you and the girls get to live. She turned him around, forced him to look at her. Is this what you want? Really want? Or are you just making another calculated move? 5 years ago, you asked me to choose you over my empire. I said no. I was wrong. I've been wrong about everything that matters. His voice roughened. But I'm choosing right now, this moment. I'm choosing you, choosing them, choosing a life where Luna and Stella wake up safe instead of running, where they go to school instead of hiding, where they have a father who comes home instead of one who dies in a warehouse protecting an empire that means nothing. Tears streamed down Amara's face. I left because I didn't think you could change. I couldn't. Not then. But them? He gestured to the room. They changed everything. What if Miranda's father says no? Then we run. Together. All of us. And we keep running until we find somewhere safe. But I won't do it alone anymore. I won't make you carry this fear by yourself. Amara pressed her forehead to his chest. I'm still angry at you. For everything. For 5 years of absence. For bringing danger to their door. I know. But I also see you trying. Changing. Choosing them. Is that enough? She pulled back, looked at him with those eyes that had always seen through his walls. Ask me again in 18 hours, when we're either dead or safe, when this is actually over. His phone buzzed. Miranda. My father agrees. Preliminary terms. You fold your entire operation into his. You become his head of security, a subordinate position. You take orders, no independent moves. In exchange, full protection for your family. Permanent. Non-negotiable. He wants to meet at dawn to finalize. Dawn was 3 hours away. 3 hours to dismantle everything he'd built. 3 hours to become someone else. 3 hours to save his daughters. Tell him yes, J1 typed back. He looked at Amara. It's done. When the brothers arrive, they won't just be facing me. They'll be facing the entire East Coast Alliance. And if they don't care, if they attack anyway, then they die. But Luna and Stella live. That's all that matters. From inside the room, Stella's sleepy voice. Daddy? Why are you and Mommy talking so loud? Both of them froze. J1 walked in, knelt beside her bed. Sorry, baby girl. We were just talking about tomorrow. Is tomorrow a good day or a scary day? The question destroyed him, that she even had to ask. That her 5-year-old mind had learned to categorize days by fear level. It's going to be a good day, he promised. The best day. No more scary men, no more running, just family. Promise? Promise. She smiled, closed her eyes, fell back asleep. J1 stayed there watching her breathe. In 3 hours, he'd give up his empire. In 18 hours, he'd face 3 Russian brothers bent on revenge. But looking at his daughters, peaceful and safe for now, worth it. All of it. Every sacrifice, every burned bridge, every piece of power surrendered. Because the crime lord had finally learned what empire really meant, and it had nothing to do with territory. It had everything to do with 2 little girls who called him Daddy. Dawn came too fast. J1 stood in Miranda's father's office, a room that smelled like old money and older violence, and signed away 15 years of work. Territory transfers, asset liquidation, command structure integration. Every page another piece of his independence disappearing. Alessandro De Luca, Miranda's father, watched with calculating eyes. You understand what this means? The old Italian said. You work for me now. No autonomous operations. No independent calls. You're a soldier again, not a general. I understand. And if I give an order you don't like, I follow it anyway. Alessandro studied him. Why? You've spent years building your own empire. Why surrender it all now? Because Empire doesn't wake me up at 3 a.m. asking for water. Empire doesn't trust me to chase away nightmares. Empire won't remember me when I'm gone. J1 met his eyes. My daughters will. The old man's expression shifted. Something almost like respect. Family, he said quietly. In the end, it's all that matters. I built this organization for my children, my grandchildren, everything I've done, every choice, every sacrifice, for blood. Then you understand. I do, which is why I'm going to help you end this. The Kozlov brothers land in 6 hours. When they do, they'll find out what happens when you threaten a family under De Luca protection. J1 signed the last page. It was done. He was no longer an independent crime lord. He was Alessandro De Luca's head of security, a subordinate, a soldier with a family to protect. The brothers will expect you to run, Alessandro continued, or to meet them alone like you did Victor. Instead, we're going to show them overwhelming force, a message that attacking you means attacking all of us. What's your plan? They're landing at a private airfield in Jersey. We'll be waiting, not to kill, not immediately. First, we negotiate. We offer them a choice. Accept blood money for Victor's death and walk away, or start a war with the entire East Coast Alliance. They won't take the money. This is about honor for them. Then they die. But we give them the chance. Rules of our world. Always offer the out, even if you know they won't take it. J1's phone buzzed. Amara. The girls are awake, asking for you. His heart twisted. I need an hour, to be with them, before this starts. Alessandro nodded. Go, be a father. I'll handle the preparations. Jae-won found the twins in the estate's garden. Luna was examining flowers with scientific precision. Stella chased butterflies with determined joy. Amara sat on a bench watching them. She looked exhausted. "Did you sleep?" he asked, sitting beside her. "Did you?" "No." They sat in silence, watching their daughters play. Normal, innocent, untouched by the violence brewing around them. "I signed everything over to Alessandro," Jae-won said quietly. "It's official. I'm not a crime lord anymore, just his employee." "How does it feel?" "Lighter than I expected. Terrifying, but lighter." "And when the brothers come?" "Alessandro's handling it. Full alliance response. The brothers get one chance to walk away. If they don't, they die." "Yes." Luna ran over, holding a flower. "Daddy, look. It's the same color as the moon on my neck." The crescent-shaped flower was pale white, glowing in the morning sun. "It's beautiful, baby. Can we plant these at our house? When we go home?" Home. The word hung between them all, because they didn't have a home. Not really. Amara's apartment was compromised. His penthouse was a fortress, not a home. Everything was temporary, dangerous, uncertain. "Tell you what," Jae-won said. "When this is over, when it's really over, we'll find a house with a big garden, and we'll plant a whole field of moonflowers. Promise?" That word again. The word his daughters weaponized without knowing it. Promise. Stella ran over. "I'm hungry. Can we have pancakes?" "I think the kitchen can manage that," Amara said, standing. "Come on, girls." "Daddy too?" Luna asked. "Of course, Daddy too." They walked inside, this strange constellation of a family. Jae-won made pancakes, badly, while the twins helped by making an enormous mess with flour. Amara laughed for the first time in days, watching him try to flip one and having it land on the floor. "You're terrible at this," she said. "I'm learning." "Daddy's pancakes look like butterflies," Stella announced, pointing at the misshapen disaster on her plate. "Very abstract butterflies," Luna added seriously. They ate together, laughed, had a moment of pure, perfect normalcy. Then Jae-won's phone rang. "Marcus." "Boss, they're early. The brothers landed 20 minutes ago. Alessandro's team is moving to intercept." The pancakes turned to ash in his mouth. "I have to go," he said. The twins' faces fell. "But you just got here," Stella said. "I know, baby. But I have to handle something. Then I'll come right back. I promise." "Another promise," Luna said quietly. "You make a lot of promises. And I keep them. All of them." He kissed both their foreheads. Met Amara's eyes. "If something goes wrong..." "Nothing's going wrong. You made a deal. Alessandro has an army. The brothers are outnumbered. This ends today. But if it doesn't, then I'll protect them, like I've been doing for 5 years. But Jae-won," she touched his face. "Come back. Don't make me raise them alone again. Don't make them grow up wondering if Daddy loved them enough to stay alive." He pulled her close, kissed her like it might be the last time. "I love you," he said. "I never stopped. I was just too stupid to choose you when it mattered. Then choose me now. Choose us. And come home." "I will." He left before the twins could see him break. Marcus waited with an armored SUV. "Alessandro's at the airfield with 50 men. The brothers brought 30. We have them outnumbered and outgunned. That won't matter if they're willing to die for honor. Then we make sure they die fast." The drive took 40 minutes. Every minute, Jae-won's mind played scenarios. Outcomes. Possibilities. Most ended with blood. Some ended with him dead. None ended with everyone walking away. They arrived to find Alessandro's men surrounding a private hangar. Inside, 3 men who looked exactly like Victor. Same cold eyes, same cruel mouths, same dangerous presence. Dmitri, Alexei, and Konstantin Kozlov, Victor's brothers, here for vengeance. Alessandro stood facing them, calm and controlled. "Gentlemen," he said, "we have a situation to resolve." Dmitri, the eldest, smiled. It was Victor's smile, the one that preceded violence. "You killed our brother. He came after my associate's children. He made a choice. He paid for it. And now we make our choice. Blood for blood, the old way. Or, Alessandro said calmly, you take $10 million and walk away. Blood money for your loss. Enough to expand your Moscow operations. Enough to make Victor's death profitable instead of pointless. The brothers looked at each other. Laughed. You think we came for money? Alexei, the middle brother, stepped forward. We came for his head. He pointed at Jaewon. And the heads of his whore and his bastard children. Jaewon moved before anyone could stop him. 3 steps, 1 punch. Alexei's nose shattered with a wet crack, guns cocked everywhere. 50 weapons pointed at the brothers, 30 pointed back. 1 movement from anyone and the hangar would become a massacre. Call my daughters bastards again, Jaewon said quietly. And I'll do to you what I did to Victor. Slowly. Alessandro didn't move. Stand down, Jaewon. This is a negotiation. They just threatened to behead my children. Negotiation's over. Dmitri wiped his brother's blood from his face, smiled wider. There it is, the real Jaewon Park. Not the broken man trying to play father, the killer, the monster. You have no idea what kind of monster I can be when someone threatens my family. Show us. The air crackled with violence about to explode. Then, a phone rang. Konstantin's phone. He answered, listened. His face went pale. What? Dmitri demanded. Our operations in Moscow. They're gone, burned. Every warehouse, every safe house. All of it. Simultaneously. The brothers stared at each other, then at Alessandro, who smiled. I made calls while you were in the air. Contacted associates in Russia. Made it clear that if anything happened to Jaewon Park or his family, your entire empire would disappear. You landed 20 minutes ago. Your empire started burning 21 minutes ago. His voice went cold. So here's your actual choice. Take the 10 million and rebuild in Moscow, or die here and leave nothing behind. Choose fast. The silence stretched like razor wire. Finally, Dmitri spoke. We take the money. Just like that. Over. Smart choice, Alessandro said. The funds will be transferred within the hour. You leave immediately. You never return to American soil. You never speak the names Jaewon Park, Amara Baptiste, Luna, or Stella again. Break any of these terms, and what happened to your Moscow operations will look like mercy. The brothers nodded. Defeated. Their honor bought for 10 million, and fear of total destruction. They left without another word. Jaewon stood there, barely breathing. It was over. Actually over. The threat. The bounty. The blood vendetta. Over. Go home, Alessandro said quietly. Go be with your daughters. You've earned it. Jaewon drove back to the estate in a daze. Walked inside. Found Luna and Stella in the garden again. They ran to him. Daddy, you came back. I promised, didn't I? Is the scary stuff over? He knelt down, pulled them both close. Yes, baby. It's over. No more running, no more hiding. Just us. Forever. Forever. Amara stood watching, tears streaming down her face. It's really over? She whispered. It's really over. She collapsed into his arms. And for the first time in 5 years, maybe in his entire life, Jaewon Park felt something he'd never experienced. Peace. 3 months later. The house had a garden full of moonflowers. Jaewon pushed Stella on the swing while Luna showed him her butterfly collection. Normal. Safe. Home. Daddy, watch me. Stella flew through the air, fearless. His heart clenched. She trusted him completely now. Amara appeared with lemonade, smiling that smile he'd fallen in love with years ago. Girls, snack time. They ran inside, leaving him alone with the woman he'd almost lost forever. Happy? She asked quietly. Terrified, he admitted. Every day I wake up thinking this is too good to be real, that something will take it away. Nothing's taking it away. The threats are gone. You're not that man anymore. I'm still learning how to be this man, the father, the partner, the guy who makes pancakes. She kissed him softly. You're doing fine. Better than fine. Luna called from inside. Daddy, we need you for tea party. He laughed. Come in, baby girl. 3 months ago, he was a crime lord with an empire. Now he was a father with a family. He'd traded everything and gained the whole world. Daddy, come on, Stella yelled. I'm coming. Amara took his hand. Welcome home, Jaewon. Finally, after 15 years of darkness, he was exactly where he belonged. Home.